I got to tell you, today's been an interesting day. It's my first time attending this session. And I've been impressed with the quality of the dialogue. And I'm also happy Numeris has been mentioned a number of times, which is very, very encouraging because it speaks to the interest in this industry to address the need to evolve our measurement systems in this country. We have to start understanding audiences better and be able to compare them between the traditional measurement systems and the digital systems. So I'll speak more to that later, but I was very impressed by that. So for most of my career, I worked in broadcasting. So my experience with Numeris was as a member organization and a user of Numeris data. But now that I'm on the Numeris team, I must say I'm very impressed with what Numeris brings to the table. So I'm going to start there. So let me start by saying, I'll adjust this, start by saying Numeris Matters. And here's why. So we are driving forward with industry solutions for audience measurement based on best practices around the world. Yeah, we're a nonprofit organization owned by our members. Our members consist of broadcasters, advertisers, and agencies, but we represent and we lead audience measurement in this country. Most important, on a daily basis, Numeris provides audience data supporting $3.5 billion of annual advertising revenues. So, before we discuss the future of audience measurement, let's remind everyone where we are today. So, Numeris, thank you. So, Numeris is in the forefront of tracking audio and video audiences. Our current PPM technology is comprehensive in tracking audiences across platforms in and out of the home, on a live, playback, and on-demand basis. And we're even tracking Netflix audiences using diaries. You have to admit, it's kind of ironic that we're using our oldest technology to track our newest platforms. So there's been an incredible amount of coverage and discussion lately on new measurement tools south of the border, and I want to address that. First, you have to appreciate not all measurement systems are the same. Here are a few very key differences in how we measure audiences in Canada, of which I'm sure all of you know. Just a reminder. So US meters are still connected to the TV, which means they're only capturing TV audiences. We use PPM meters that capture audiences everywhere on all devices. PPM in the US is used to track audio, versus we use it for audio and video in Canada. US, we heard earlier today, US reports commercial ratings, and we report AMAs. And we believe that the recent rollout of total audience tools is partly because of some of these measurement limitations. So this industry continues to evolve and be more complex. Look at all the ways we consume content, and the expectations are to keep up in measuring and understanding all of these audiences. Like to say, it's like calling squirrel, squirrel, squirrel every day. So it's our job at Numeris to drown out the noise, make sense of this complicated measurement world. I think it is fair to say all of us have been preoccupied with trying to adjust to this digital world. Yes, it's a digital world, and which provides us so much more choice, greater personalization of content, and is often an additive experience. But hey, things are starting to settle down with a little more balance of media views on media consumption. People are starting to realize, and you've heard it all day, that TV's not dead, but rather remains the dominant media. When you have over 34 million Canadians watching TV every week, you can't say TV is dead or dying. People are watching a lot of television. The average weekly hours viewed is slightly down. You've seen different charts today, but still remains the dominant choice as to how Canadians want to consume content. These average weekly hours remain very, very significant. Prime time, look at the numbers, remain very, very strong, even in households with PVRs. So that being the case, however, we can say, we must admit, people are watching TV very differently given the convenience of playback and on demand. Let's look at the audiences from the season finale of a very popular show. Majority of audiences are watching live or playback. Okay, so future measurement. We struggle today with trying to understand audiences on a holistic level by working with and trying to make sense of combining traditional audience measurement tools with various digital measurement tools. The world is working with data integration and developing holistic measurement tools. So at Numeris, we are focused on developing a hybrid and holistic tools as we monitor and exchange ideas with measurement leaders around the world. Measuring audiences holistically is our focus as well, and we are focusing on 3 priorities to get there. First, we got to expand our digital measurement in partnership with a digital partner. Second, we need to expand our on-demand tool to include specialty channels. And third, lots today about this one, set-top box. So let me describe this in a little bit more detail. So this slide just got updated, and unfortunately this is the older one. But here's the thing. So currently, roughly about 90% of monthly hours watching video Numeris measures. So if Numeris is measuring 90%, the latest numbers actually show that instead of 8.5, it's I think 10.7. So it's roughly 90%. So if Numeris is measuring 90% of all video, why are we focusing on it? Well, in 1 year since the slide is updated, it went down by 2 points, or went up by 2 points in terms of what Numeris is not measuring. So consumption of video will continue to evolve. So we need to be prepared to measure total video, and that means capturing long-form video and original digital video that is not currently encoded. So we're working hand in hand with our members to determine their needs, our needs, and select a digital partner to develop a hybrid and holistic measurement solution for total video audiences. Let's look at on-demand. So our tracking of on-demand has been pretty revealing. So ODM audiences range from 5 to 10% of linear AMAs. 25 to 40% are watching the same program in linear feed. Sorry. Majority of ODM audiences are watching the same episode as another family member. And people are watching within 8 days as to when the video was posted. So our goal is to expand ODM to capture audiences on specialty, as we currently are only working with conventional audiences. Okay, set-top box. Boy, is this a topical conversation lately, and especially today. So as you heard from others, the CRTC created a working group to develop set-top box audience measurement to create a system as part of Let's Talk TV hearings. So Numeris was hired by this CRTC working group to answer a basic question. This is important. Is it technically feasible to combine set-top box data from various BDUs? Now you have to step back on this one. So the BDUs built set-top box, which is now return path data, for their specific business reasons. You're talking dozens of different brands. You're talking dozens of different formats. You're looking at, and now they have to work on determining if you can take all of this data and integrate it into a single data set, but you run into a bunch of problems, of course, as you can imagine. It wasn't built for that. The ability to retrieve it is an issue. The ability to transfer it is an issue. You got all kinds of privacy issues, which I'm not going to talk about today. So this isn't easy, folks. So it's going to take some time. So once this can be demonstrated that it's technically feasible, and the benefit at that point, once you reach that stage, frankly, is once you've done it, then it's much easier to replicate it. But to get to that stage is going to take some time, and it has been taking some time. So we're in the later stages of completing this assignment, and we're going to report back to the CRTC working group. So let's assume for a minute it is technically feasible. So then we're going to recommend a full market test in Toronto to assess the potential of a single integrated data set with PPM panel TV currency towards a goal of developing a commercial set-top box system. It's highly complex. It's a long-term project. So fasten your seatbelts. So, where we land. So to summarize our goals, we need a consistent measurement. We need a system of consistent measurement of all audiences. We get that. We're working on that. We need to build, and this system needs to build upon our currently successful and accepted audience measurement system by transferring these strengths towards measuring video holistically. We've got to build off the world-renowned TAM system. We need to eliminate the duplication of audiences to better understand audience behavior, and we need to increase the confidence and value of digital content. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil. I talked to one or two people in the back of the room, and it so happens that I may have created a bit of frustration by not taking any questions. I was trying to avoid the frustrations of delaying you from your cocktail, but I'm being told that if there's one or two urgent questions to one of the three last speakers that you'd like to ask, or four speakers actually, by the way, that we can take those. So are there any urgent questions? There's one here in the front. Do we want to call maybe the four speakers? Who is your question to?
For Numeris?
Okay.
You alluded to the fact that it's complicated and it'll take a lot of time. Could you be any more specific on the time it'll take?
Yeah, so right now, are you talking about set-top box or what you?
Set-top box.
Oh, of course, set-top box. Okay, so right now we have a contractual obligation to get back to the working group. So we're hoping that'll be beginning of the summer.
Just to find out if the sample piece is working.
Yes.
And if it
Right now, simply, we're trying to figure out, can you do it? There's no point in going further if you can't determine, can you do it? Because the value rests in what you can do once you can actually integrate it.
So one of two things will happen in the summer. Either you can do it, and then the project will take another...
Well, we haven't seen the report yet. And once we see that and we can determine what's involved to take it to the next level, I think there's tremendous... The thing you have to remember in this exercise, I mean, everyone's optimistic about this, and so am I. But you have to pick up all the learnings. So right now I'm kind of flying blind because I actually don't know if it's technically feasible. And if we do know if it's technically feasible, what is it gonna take to actually then bring it to the next level in terms of assessing value? You know, clearly we'd love to be able to fuse it with the PPM currency data. And then, you know, now you actually know who's watching. That would be terrific with this data. So we have to get there. So it's really premature for me to put a timeline. I'd actually just be making it up. So more to come probably in the summer when we can actually deliver that report to the CRTC, take stock of where we are, and then map out a plan going forward, assuming the CRTC agrees they want to do a test in Toronto.
Okay, thank you.
So we have talked about set-top box data, but what about the ISP data? So the ISP, there is plenty of gear that can do, I don't know, deep packet inspection and know just about everything that goes into a pipe. So is there any talk of doing that sort of thing? Because telcos have, if they want, they have that ability at the ISP level to know. One thing is what is going in the let's say the TV pipe, and another thing is when it's going in the data pipe. And quite frankly, I think the TV seems to be that we already figured it out. We're trying to figure out what is going in the data pipe. So that is not going to come through a set-top box. That is going to come through the ISP side.
You're probably right. But what they're going to do with the data they get on the IP side, I mean, I think what we're largely trying to do is to address what is a huge frustration in the market today, which is about to sit back and holistically look at these audiences and lift the standard of measurement in this industry, and you know, and also recognize the developments that's happening around the world. I think one of the reasons why we're focusing on trying to do business with a digital partner and measure video more holistically, because we think it can be done quicker and it probably brings more value. When you get into set-top box and you start looking at that space, nobody around the world is actually seeing a lot of success at this. The one thing I think is worth mentioning, and I want to make, hopefully I'm right on this one, is that what we've seen in other countries, they've had success in terms of working with one BDU and fusing that data. What we're trying to do is we're trying to take 3 BDUs and fuse that and see if that actually has technical feasibility. That, to my knowledge, hasn't happened anywhere in the world. So that's going to be our focus. How the BDUs, as they've been working on it for quite some time, I think Al said earlier today he's been on it for 18 months, and where's he going to go with IP data, and what's he going to use vis-a-vis the benefit of Rogers? You're going to have to ask Al that question. We're just focused on this particular part to see if we can lift the industry standards for measurement and get some value out of that awareness of the set-top box data with demographic data.